Hey guys, this is Mike from Capsule, and we are very excited to be here at the Supernova Sydney 2011 today, and I have with me Neil Kaplan, who most of you will probably know as the voice of Optimus Prime.
Well, I might think that people who are really with more of a computer background, I think might know me better as Tychus Finley from StarCraft 2. I played Optimus Prime actually this one time a decade ago, believe it or not, back in 2001. So it's been a little bit of time. But I tend to fly the Finley flag more often these days.
Oh, very nice to hear. Well, I suppose just on that topic of StarCraft, how exactly did you both get the role of Tychus Finley? Something as huge as StarCraft is.
Well, interestingly enough, I had watched my brother play StarCraft because I'm not that great a game player, but I was very familiar with StarCraft and StarCraft universe. And someone who was working with Blizzard at the time knew that they wanted a deep, big sound character of Tychus Finley. And so he called me to do the scratch tracks, which essentially are vocal tracks that are done so that animation can be done around them and kind of get an idea of the timing before the actual recording tracks are done. There are cases with Pixar, with all of their films like Bug's Life, Toy Story, and Finding Nemo, where there are actors whose names you don't recognize, and the reason is because they had scratch tracks done at Pixar, and they loved them so much that they kept that person doing the character, you know? So, recently, for instance, DreamWorks with Shrek, the final one with the character Rumpelstiltskin, the actor actually works at DreamWorks and did the scratch track for Mike and Kaplan. That was the same thing that happened with me and Tychus. So, as a matter of fact, it was told by Chris Metzen, the creator of StarCraft, that after my first few sessions of laying down a little bit of Tychus, they went back and actually rewrote the game and delayed the release because they wanted to expand the role of Tychus Finley.
Well, the fans are very thankful they actually were able to, or players were actually willing to go back and rewrite just because of
I guess what happened is you write lines, and somebody performs it, and it maybe comes out better than you thought, and so you say, hey, wait, let's do more with this. And you know, it was one of those things where I spoke to the animators afterward, and we loved what you did, man, and every time we heard your track, we wanted to work harder on the animation with Tychus. And I would say, that's funny, because when I would see the animation with Tychus, I would want to work harder on the voice, because when you realize the talent you're matched up with when working with Blizzard, everybody raises their game up to be that much better, you know? And so it just wound up being this really iconic character. I mean, I'm really very fortunate, and the great thing about it is I'm the only actor that played it, so you know, nobody's comparing me to the original as opposed to there are wonderful Transformers around the world, Transformer fans around the world who've said some very wonderful things about my work, and I appreciate it, and I certainly understand that Optimus Prime is Peter Cullen's role. There's no doubt about that. He created it, and it's wonderful he's doing the movies again. So, even as you get compared to him, and to be compared to such a great actor, I mean, it's an honor. But it's also really nice to have something that's just fun.
Well, I guess as a voice actor, especially one that plays such iconic characters, who do you think would be your idol as a voice actor?
Oh, well, you know, I certainly grew up listening to Frank Welker, and, you know, Ducky Nash, who's been Donald Duck. But I was more inspired by impressionists when I was younger, like Frank Gorshin, who you may know as the Riddler on Batman TV series. He was also a very accomplished impressionist. Or a gentleman by the name of Rich Little and Rex Ravenina. They inspired me to start doing impressions, and then when I met Pete King, Mel Blanc, and Mel said to me, you know, don't do impressions. Impressions are for comedians. Do your own original character. That was a seminal moment in my life, and I really stopped paying attention to imitating people and started paying attention to picking up traits and combining them to create characters. You know, Like, for instance, one of the things I've been working on for the last 2 weeks is, of course, everyone knows how Optimus Prime sounds. Transform and roll out. But many of you may wonder, what would he sound like if he was from down under? And all I gotta tell you would be something like, all of us, transform and roll out.
That is absolutely amazing. I just think that goes to show everybody that any great voice actor can sort of manipulate their voice.
He's a chameleon.
Yeah, voice chameleon.
Well, thank you. But again, it's about taking different elements and mixing them together. And it took me a while because I usually would do the dialect, but then I would lose the timbre. I would lose that part of my range. It may raise up or go down. So I really had to think and work on maintain that level and then bring in the dialect. You know, which essentially now creates an entirely new character of one. Make an old Yoruba, of course, just a answering something, you know, but it now goes into the knapsack of voices, and now if anybody needs kind of a rough Aussie sound, I'm going to reach in my bag and grab Aussie Prime, or Aussie Prime, I guess, now you got to stop.
I actually think that might be a little bit of time. Can you do an Aussie type?
Oh yeah, but you got to bring the...
It's very close.
It's really close.
That'd be a gigantic Aussie. Big, solid man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just getting it down there and layering in that dialogue. But absolutely, it's one of those ways that a voiceover actor can say they do 500 voices because you take the element of Australia dialect with the low voice, or New York dialect, or Texan dialect, or South African dialect, whatever it is, and mix and match it, and then you go, okay, we've got all these dialects, now let's pitch it up. Let's make it gruffer. Let's make it smoother. It's just like creating anything else by putting disparate, different ingredients in.
That was a very, very good demonstration. I guess one last question I would like to ask is, what do you feel that, what do you think about Titus's character himself? Like, do you think he's an asshole? Do you think he's...
No. Titus is your typical anti-hero that really just wants to sit at the bar and get a drink, be left alone, and meet a pretty girl for the night, and enjoy all those physical life, whether it's smoking a good cigar, or being with a fine woman, or drinking a really good whiskey. But at the same time, when somebody breaks down the door and says, "Sheriff, they're attacking the town!" and the sheriff goes out the back door because he's cowardly, Titus is the guy that says, run, and grabs his gun and goes to the gun. It's right. You know, I would talk about the end of but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But basically, Titus starts out the game with one mission. And when he's put in a position where that mission has now changed, and he's in a moral dilemma that he did not perceive was going to happen, he makes a choice that results in what happens. And I think it's not that somebody else makes that choice, he made the choice, you know, to do ultimately what was right. Because, you know, he may be a hedonist that loves all the good things of life, but he's ethical, and he's moral, and he's loyal. Yes. Yep, absolutely. I mean, he took the fall for Jimmy and spent time in Ohio. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess just we'll wrap it up here. Just one last question. Would you be able to sign us off new character team voice title?
Oh, I was gonna do one of my own characters.
Oh, go ahead.
Right? Whichever you choose.
This would be Optimus. See you later, everybody. Thanks for watching. Alrighty.